ladies and gentlemen. This will be another Revelations of Men video, but this one is specifically for which section of men are we going to be talking about today? Asian men, please come to the front of the class. This is for you. I got something for you. You're going to learn today. I am noticing a disturbing trend that is going on right now on the social media streets. I am noticing that there are more and more Asian men getting into sex work. And y'all are openly, showcasing yourselves in this lifestyle. Now, I am not here to disparage sex workers and to disparage any man or woman that does it. I get it. Times are hard. People got to eat. People are trying to make money. I get why people would feel like they need to do it. I'm not going to condone the lifestyle. As a Christian woman, I can't condone that, because we know what the Bible says about fornication and, being sexually active with anybody that is not your husband or your wife, and that's what I got to stand on. Obviously, nobody's perfect. There's no person on planet Earth that is without sin, so I'm genuinely not here to put down anybody. I say what I say in love. I feel that the Asian section of the human family tree needs to be talked to, needs to be addressed. And I am hoping that this video will actually be a blessing, because, there are too many people out here claiming to be Christians, and they are some of the most unloving people that you will ever meet. And I make it a point to not be that person, but I feel that this needs to be said to the Asian brothers and sisters, brethren in this case. Well, it's going to be the brethren in this case, not the sistering. So, it is disturbing my spirit, because I feel that Asian men, I know that the world has tried to tell you that you guys are not manly because they try to call y'all effeminate and feminine because you have a different way of manning, you have a different culture that you come from. And so manhood was just not the same as Western manhood. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I really wish more and more of y'all would really just understand that. God made y'all different for a reason. He gave you a different way of manning, so that way, as long as it's not toxic and harmful to yourself or women and children, you have this is a golden opportunity to show you another form of manhood that could potentially be healthy. A masculinity that could be non-toxic if you weren't ashamed of it. That is, if you would just go to God and, talk to God and have God transform you so that you can be the man that you're supposed to be, you could genuinely show the world what a different form of masculinity is, and in spite of the world attempting to make fun of it. And I say that to say, because I understand that many Asian men are getting into sex work, and we're getting to, I personally have not watched any of that spicy content. I'm not a porn watcher, but I'm seeing this stuff appear on my algorithm. Different Asian men, they have really neat content. I like their content, like on TikTok, Facebook, the appropriate stuff. But then I'm finding out a little bit later on that, oh, he's OnlyFans or something, because I didn't know, but I find out, Now, I haven't seen any of the spicy content, and I won't watch it. But overall, I think the non-spicy content, I think, is great. I think it's really good content. I think it's fun. I think a lot of these Asian guys are quite funny and have really cool personalities. And I just hate that the West has made a lot of Asian men feel like less of a man. So, and that they're also made to feel undesirable. So I feel that a lot of these men are getting into sex work because they're trying to prove to the world that, hey, Asian men can be handsome, hot, sexy, desirable too. And I understand that. I understand wanting to be desired, wanting to be viewed as desirable, and you don't want to be viewed according to the negative stereotypes that the West has imposed on you. And I understand that, and I respect that. I'm colored myself, okay? I just don't think sex work is the way to go. I just don't think that's the right way, but I understand why it's being done. And I just wish that Asian men would understand that it's actually a good thing that you guys are not heavily represented in spicy television. The people that dominate, and I'm going to get to this. This is going to be a separate video that I'm going to give to white people, because we're going to have to talk about that with them too. But the people that are the most represented in especially pornography, sex work, is actually white people. And I'm not saying this on white folks, but this is going to be a whole other video set aside for them, but this is for Asian men. And what I don't understand sometimes, and this isn't just Asian men, but I find with people of color, why so many of us are fighting so hard to be heavily represented in spicy content. Why would we want that? We already deal with being sexualized, especially if you're as a woman, especially for us as women. We already deal with that already. Why would we want to be overrepresented in this type of content? And then I do understand when it comes to Asian men, because they're seen as not desirable. They think this is a way to be seen as more desirable, but it's just gonna backfire. It's not gonna yield good results. I just think that if y'all would just go to God and ask God a different way of presenting yourself in a desirable, healthy manner. I just wish that was done instead. But yet so many men, when they want to appear desirable, they always have to go the sex route, because men are so inundated with sex. If you want to be desirable, it has something to do with sex. If you want to be we inundate men's minds to the point where that's all they think about. It's excessive. And it's like, I just wish that as people of color, we could be happy about the fact that we're not overrepresented in spicy content. That should actually make us happy. That's actually good for the reputation. Meaning, we ain't got to see you in no. But now, when we're seeing more and more Asian men trying to get into that, I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Here we go. And it's very much giving y'all feel like y'all have to be like everybody else. God didn't make you that way. You were set apart so that the world could see a different type of manhood. What is wrong with showing people that you don't have to be like Western people? You don't have to look like Western people. You are not supposed to man the way everybody else. And can I say another thing about the whole, y'all like to say Asian men have small, you know what? I'm sorry, I want to address that. I don't mean to be inappropriate, but I want to address that. I don't have experience seeing what it looks like, so I'm not going to judge. I don't feel like it's my place. I don't go asking Asian men to go, I don't want to see it. If you're not married to me, you're not my husband, I don't want to know what it looks like. I'm not going and looking at the spicy content to look and see what it looked like. I don't want to know. But I really need Asian men to quit listening to people tell them this stuff. Because clearly, if your manhood is being attacked on a regular basis, wouldn't that kind of tell you that maybe people are jealous of the type of manhood that you have? Because 9 times out of 10, it's the very thing that people attack. That's usually what they're jealous of. And I really, really wish Asian men understood that. I'm not here to teach nobody how to be a man, but I will say this much. I just wish that Asian men in general, regardless of the country you come from Thailand or Korea, Japan, I don't care. I wish that y'all would look at the great, amazing men in your own cultures who did actual good things. Why not use those people as examples, good examples of manhood? And do those good things. And don't do the bad things. And then study the people in your culture, if you must, that did horrible things, and use them as an example on what not to do. I don't know why men in general won't just do that. And then I'm going to take it a step further. I'm also going to suggest that I want you to study Native American history, because I want you to study the incredible, amazing men in Native history and the cool things that they did. Study the good things that they did and don't repeat the bad stuff. I want you to study the father of humanity. I want you to study the amazing, awesome men, the folks that fathered you, by the way. And I want that to be a source of inspiration for you and where you come from. I'm trying to encourage Native Americans to come down there and see y'all, but don't worry, we'll make that happen. So, I don't know, these are just some things that I just want to get off my chest. I wanted to say this. Stop letting other people make you feel bad about your manhood, and let God be the deciding factor and all that. Go to God. and let God lead and guide you on what you can do as a man to fix your own communities. So that way, eventually, not only will you fix your own community, but you can also branch out and help others. One example I want to give is Bruce Lee. This man, I'm sure there were things that he did in his life that were not great, and God rest his soul. But I want to talk about the amazing and wonderful things that Bruce Lee did. One of the things was coming up with his own branch of Kung Fu, and he did many other things. And one of the things that stuck out to me about him was that he didn't just want Asian people to learn Kung Fu. He didn't just want to teach them. He made it international. The fact that he was so community oriented like that, you don't hear that very much about men being communal like that. We usually think of women being more of the communal types. But the fact that he was like that, I don't know why more Asian men don't look at that as it's weird to me. I just don't understand. I mean, because I thought that what he did was community building in a way, and how he was able to get people of all ethnic groups together the way that he did. Why don't more Asian men need to be looking at that? That is a beautiful example. And can I also give an example, as in Lord of the Rings is a wonderful example of healthy masculinity. Aragorn is that amazing example. Watch them movies. I think it's interesting how we have this beautiful example of healthy masculinity, but yet most men